Penny, and as usual I'm here to talk about some bookish things. Specifically today I'm going to do the history of my bookshelf tag. So this is a tag that was created by Emma Books and I was tagged by Cats and Camera, so I will leave both their links down below. But basically how this challenge works is there are, I think, 26 prompts and you need to try and find a book off your bookshelf that meets each of these prompts. You can time yourself. I'm going to time myself, but I haven't decided if I'm going to be too concerned about it. We'll see. And then once I've found all the books, I'll go through them with you in a little bit more detail. I will also say there's some prompts that require you to remember what years you read books. I'm way too old for that shit, so I'm going to be using Goodreads as my memory bank. Okay, let's start the timer. Now, first prompt is the oldest book on your shelf. So those two, a book you read in 2013. This is where we get Goodreads helping us. The Host, 2014. We're just going to go through all the years now. 2014. Do I own any of these books? I think I read this one. 2015. Oh, this one. Where is that? This one, Half Bad by Sally Green. 2016. I actually read Vicious in 2016. 2017. Which of these books do I actually own? None of them. Oh, The Diabolic. Where is it? Oh my god, where is it? Oh, it's right in here. Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. 2018. I read Vicious again. Oh, I wish I had a copy of The Girl with All the Gifts. So I read Invictus. And then 2019, which is last year, so you'd think I'd remember, but I don't remember. 2019, what did I read that I actually own? Because I read a lot of library books. I mean, the first one I see is this one, Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. So then the next prompt is a book you've read more than once. I could have used Vicious for that. Elantris, more than once. I just reread it recently. A book you waited over a year to be published. Oh, so one of the rules is that you're supposed to try not to double up on authors or series. I was about to grab Vengeful, but no. Magic Triumphs, the last book in the Kate Daniels series. This pile is going to fall over eventually, so that's something to look forward to. A book you read on vacation away from home. I don't... See, living in New Zealand, normally when we go away from home, we go to the beach and then I'm like enjoying the beach, and even though I do read a little bit, I never make that much progress. So I don't know that I've got a book that I've read entirely while on holiday. Nope, we're skipping it. Next one, a book you got from someplace special, anything that's not your local bookstore, online retailer. I mean, it's probably one of these ones that I got from Cassie herself. So JC Hart is a New Zealand author. Probably those ones. Yep, definitely gonna fall over. A book that made you cry. I already used the Half Bad series. That's a classic made me cry one. What else made me cry? I know that I cried in some of these books, but I don't remember which ones. I'm taking too long with this bit. I do cry in books, but I cry enough that, like, it's not a significantly memorable event. Ugh. And I already used the Kate Daniels series. Oh. I think it's the first or the second one of these. It definitely cried. Yeah, totally. Put that giant book on the top of all those small ones. A book you read in one sitting. Can I just choose like Bee and Puppy Cat? Then A book that was a gift. The most obvious one is this, Fragments of Horror. Book you read before owning. Pretty sure I already used that author. Oh, The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is like Jenga, but books. A book you lent to someone. I recently lent Big Little Lies to my mum and my sister. A book that has been damaged. Definitely The Ruins of Ambray. A book you got on sale or discounted. This one, I've started a new pile because it's ridiculous. A book you read with someone else. Buddy read or read with a book club. I mean, I don't really do a lot of buddy reads. I know it's very popular, but I find it quite hard to coordinate with people. And then half the time people don't read things. Oh, that's not on my bookshelf. I mean, I did read The Lantras, but I already used that. Nope. A book you associate with a song. This is another one where no, I don't really do that. Oh, I could pick this. It's kind of it's a massive stretch. Let's do it. A book you associate with food. The only one I have is this one. A book that you got years ago that you probably wouldn't buy now. I mean, I unhold a lot of my books, so I've only kept the ones that I would really keep. I'm gonna pick this one for reasons. Oh, you're running out of battery! Hang on, 5 seconds. Okay, we're back. I should have paused the thing while I was doing that, but never mind. A book you associate with a specific time in your life. Probably Ariel by Sylvia Plath. A book you used to like but don't anymore. I mean, I've unhauled all of those. Do I have anything? Nope, we got rid of all of those. The newest book on your shelf. It's probably, let's use this one. This one. Okay, am I done? How long did that take me? Oof, 11 minutes 45 seconds. So I know that Emma Books took just over 10 minutes, so I'm slightly behind her, but I didn't rush, so. Anyway, let us see if we can say anything interesting about any of these books. Also, the problem with putting them in a giant pile like this is that the very first ones are right at the bottom. Okay, let's start. The oldest book on my shelf would either be Black Beauty or The Little White Horse. I don't remember which one I got first, but you can tell I was really into horses when I was little. Black Beauty obviously is a classic, and this is the one I had from when I was a kid, and it's so cute and little. This one is like a really strange story. Like, I really need to reread this. It's like this girl staying in this fancy house, and there's this big scary castle and this big dog creature. I don't remember much about it, but I know I loved this as a kid, and I really want to reread it. I need to do a lot more rereads. Next we have a book from 2013. So I read The Host by Stephanie Meyer in 2013. The Host is so much better than Twilight, so it's really weird that more people haven't read it. Then in 2014 I read this book, Wraith, the Book of the Order by Philippa Ballantyne. Which one is this in the series? 3? The third book in my 4-book series. I ended up really loving this series, and it's not one that I hear people talk about often, but I really think a lot of people would like this. Basically, we have like these ghouls and spectres and wraiths that are able to come through from the underworld and cause trouble, and this order of, I can't remember what the order is called, but they kind of battle these wraiths and send them back. And we also have this guy that's kind of cursed to sometimes turn into a lion. I really like this series. Then in 2015 I read Half Bad by Sally Green. Now this book has sections written in second person, and I know that really puts some people off, but I really love this series. It's about a witch who is half black witch, half white witch, and the white witches, because of that, treat him very badly, and he kind of has to find his place in the world. Love it. The third book made me cry so much, which is why I shouldn't have used this until the prompt for crying. Then in 2016 I read Vicious. It became one of my most favorite books ever. It's about these two guys who discover how to give themselves extraordinary powers but then end up wanting to kill each other. In 2000 and where are we up to? 17? I read The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. I'm so excited for the final book in this trilogy to come out this year. We've got this like genetically engineered bodyguard who's kind of discovering her humanity in this really corrupt world where they've banned the study of books and technology. So even though they live in this very futuristic world, nobody knows how anything works. It's really interesting and I love it. And then in 2018 I read Invictus by Ryan Groudon. Ryan Groudon wrote the Wolf by Wolf series, which I really loved, and I really enjoyed Invictus too. It's a little bit like Firefly. It's quite lighthearted, but we've got like these people like time travelers, but they go back in time and steal things just before they're about to go missing. And then also there's something going wrong with time. Love it. Then 2019, which one did I pick for that? I don't even know what I picked for what anymore. So I think 2019 I picked Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. I really need to continue this series. It's like about these kids that do magic, and the book has like little sections teaching you how to do magic, which is super cute. And it's just really cute and fun and beautiful. Then for a book that I read more than once, I went with Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. If you've watched any of my videos lately, you know that I love this. One of my most favorite books, and I really enjoyed rereading it just recently. Then a book that I waited a year to be published was Magic Triumphs, the last book in the Kate Daniels series. This is my absolute favorite series. Is that still true? One of my most favorite series. Kate Daniels is like a mercenary fighting against all these magical creatures that have started to come back into the world, but it's a really weird world. It's got a really unique spin on like shapeshifters and vampires, and it's also like subtly humorous. I really love this series, so I was so excited for it to finish, although now I kind of miss all the characters, so I have started doing a reread via audiobook, which is so nice to be back in this world. Okay, a book I read on vacation or away from home. I skipped that one. As I said, I just don't ever make much progress on books, and I actually can think of a book that I finished while I was away on holiday, and I don't have it anymore because I didn't like it. So then a book that I got from Somewhere Special. So I'm not entirely sure if I got all of these at the same time, but there was a New Zealand author fair, and these ones I think I got from a girl that I kind of follow on social media. She's a local New Zealand author, and she wrote these books. I'm really hoping that one day she'll continue this series because it's amazing. But this is also really cool, like generational fantasy. And then this is part of a series that she wrote. It's a little bit romance heavy for me, but I still quite enjoy the fantasy elements. So I guess it would be these ones that I bought from the author directly. For a book that made me cry, I went with the Tiger and Dell series. This is a wrap-up of the first two books, and I forget which one it was that made me cry. I think it was the second one that made me cry. Actually, now that I think about it, I remember reading that a long time ago, because I read this a long time ago. I read it while we were away, so maybe I do have an answer for that, but I've used it for this question. Anyway, I remember reading it in this little batch that we were staying in at the beach, and then when I got up to the part where something happens to one of the main characters, it was awful, and I cried forever. Then a book that I read in one sitting, I feel like I kind of cheated and went with Bee and Puppy Cat. I mean, it's just so short and cute and adorable. I really loved these pages that have QR codes built into them. Like, mainly I think QR codes are kind of stupid, but this was the best use of QR codes I've ever seen. A book that was a gift, I went with Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. So my brother got me this for Christmas and I ended up really loving it. It's like an anthology of short stories, all horror based. So for a book you read before owning, I went with The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I also got for Christmas. I originally read this in ebook from the library, which was weird reading it on my phone while I was walking around, but I couldn't get the audiobook. Anyway, I did really love this. It's all about this guy who's trying to solve a murder mystery. Every day he wakes up in the same day again, but in the body of a different person, and he doesn't know which of the other people he's interacting with are just other versions of himself. I love that kind of twisty premise, so I love this book. And then a book you lent to someone else, I've got Big Little Lies by Leah Moriarty, which is like this murder mystery thriller type book. What happened with this book is that my mum gave me a whole bunch of books that she didn't want anymore, and this was one of them. When I read it, I absolutely loved it. And then I discovered that my mum and my sister had never even read this. They just gave it to me to get rid of it, thinking that it wouldn't be interesting. So I lent it back to them, and now they've given it back to me, even though it was theirs originally. Then a book that has been damaged, I went with The Ruins of Ambright by Melanie Ron. I think this was somewhat damaged when I first got it, but it is now even more damaged. I don't know, I kind of like it, to be honest. I would love to get like a much nicer copy of this book, and if I ever see one I'll probably pick it up, but I'm only likely to see it at a thrift shop. I don't even know that you can get this new anymore, because this series was released a long time ago. 1994. That's a long time ago now. And we're still waiting for the third book in this trilogy to be released. Hopefully one day Melanie Ron can manage it. And a book that I got on sale or discounted. So I recently found a thrift shop just down the road from my house which has 50-cent books. And I'm really frustrated that I discovered that just before we all went into self-isolation. So now I can't just walk down there and get books, although in the long run it's probably for the best. But I did manage to get The Lies of Locke Lamora, which is one of the books I had put on my 20 books to read in 2020 list, so I'm really excited to be able to read this for only 50 cents. Then a book you read with someone else. So to be honest, I do actually read the books along with several different groups online, but most of them I end up getting from the library because they're newer releases. I haven't read them yet. I don't own them. I don't usually buy new releases because they're really expensive. And I am not that rich. But I did recently read Elantris with the Cosmere along, but it doesn't count because I already used it. Another one that I read recently was Trail of Lightning because of Rachel Marie's Patreon group, but it's a library book, so it doesn't really belong in the history of my bookshelf, does it? Then for a book you associate with a song, this is a stretch, but the Lock and Key graphic novel series has recently been made into a TV show. Not this one specifically, because this is like a little spin-off short story, but the main series, which I don't own. I really need to get my hands on it, because it's one of my most favorite graphic novel series ever, but it's like a horror series with all these magical keys. They made a TV show, and there is one episode which ends with Billie Eilish's song. You Should See Me in a Crown is the line that fits with the bit of the TV show. So it's a stretch, but that song? Then a book you associate with a food. For that I went with The Iron Trial, mainly because last year when I was doing the reading rush, there was a challenge to do something food related, eat some food that was in your book, and so I throughout the day based all my meals on food that the main characters get on their first day within the magic school in this book. Of those meals, the most memorable was probably the chocolate brownie with ice cream, which was really delicious but also so filling, and given that I had like a whole menu that I was trying to get through for this book, I ended up so full. So I guess this one. Then a book you got years ago that you probably wouldn't buy now. Now, I've gone with The Power of One by Bryce Courtney, only because I totally want to own this book. I love this book and the sequel Tandia. What I don't like is these horrible, awful orange spines that look completely ugly on my bookshelf. If I could find a prettier version of The Power of One and Tandia, I would definitely do that. Then a book you associate with a specific time in your life. I went with Ariel by Sylvia Plath because I remember reading this in high school, and then it was around the time when my friends were all into writing songs and poems, and so this had quite a big influence on the stuff that I was writing at the time. Then a book you used to like but don't anymore. Unhold all of those. Don't care. And then the newest book on your shelf. So when I went down to that thrift shop down the road from my house, I bought 3 books. One was The Lies of Locke Lamora. One was Her Fearful Symmetry by Audrey Niffenegger. And what was the other one? Oh, the other one was Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. So this one I'm trying to read this month. I'm being good, reading it very early. This one I guess I'll get to maybe for the spookathon. So that's the challenge. I think I did pretty good. I maybe had to skip a couple, but I think they were all reasonable ones to skip. Now technically this is the part of the video where I would challenge other people, but I'm just not in the mood for challenging people right now. So instead I'm going to say that if you're watching this video and you got to this part of the video, then you are challenged. I'd love to see you tell me about some of the books in your bookshelf, potentially ones that you don't get to talk about very often. Right now I'm going to go and tidy up the giant mess that I just made of books on my chair. Do let me know if you have any thoughts about the books that I mentioned today. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a really wonderful day despite what's going on with the world. Keep safe, and I will see you next time.